Welcome back to Wavelenghts. So let's actually get the tabletop game ready, I think, if I remember correctly. But I don't think it's right at the beginning of this part, if I remember correctly. First we have to also... Or maybe so.
The campaign's kind of on hiatus right now. Violet gave this to me on our first date. Kinda made up for missing Pride. At least at the time.
What's the context behind that, I wonder?
I don't think there is any.
As long as bands keep putting out actual records, I'll keep trying to sell them to actual customers.
The plot twist is going to be she's actually been selling to ghosts all along.
Wow. I really don't want to do any of this.
I mean, you kind of have to. It's your job.
Why are you so broken up about it anyway?
It's work, Joe. It does that to you.
Yep.
True. Like, you know, I've seen a funny meme picture where somebody compares their experiences of studying history in school as drudging and then falling asleep to just doing it for fun, and suddenly they take to it amazingly. Like, I feel like school and work have the ability to take your passion out of something. I don't know what it is about those, but yeah. And God help you if you take a job that you don't like.
Okay, now this record goes here. Wait, what's Rebecca Black doing here? That joke got old years ago. Eerie sounds.
I'm so not having this right now. Last chore. Just get it done.
So it seems like some painful memories sparked, I guess.
Did we go anywhere with that, or is that just speculation?
Well, we'll see.
We got nearly just under 50 minutes to find that out. Gold, I'm rich. Oh.
Like fucking trash.
Oh my god.
Wait a
Chloe.
minute.
Where's Chloe?
Are we referencing some events from what probably happened in between Life is Strange and Before the Storm?
Like
since
any other day.
No,
yeah,
it's
I'm
just,
guessing this is
basically it's
I'm
it's implied that Steph has
Gabe's a great friend.
trauma from what happened to Arcadia. What happened?
I'm done here.
Rachel.
Arcadia.
I'll close up the DJ booth and call him.
Because, yeah, I don't recall hearing those lines
Backseat
ever in
bingo.
either of the past two games, so I'm assuming
that sound
this is
familiar?
referencing to, like, you know...
Remember,
how
this
they
takes place
reacted
after
to
the original Life is
Steph.
Strange, so at this point people know what happened to Rachel. So it probably wouldn't have been a good piece of news. And remember, this is the Arcadia Bay survived ending, meaning everybody in Arcadia Bay learned what happened to Rachel.
Gabe, listen. I want to drink until I can't feel feelings. Think you can help me out?
Although,
I'll
wasn't
be right
Steph
there.
out of Arcadia Bay by the time of Life is Strange 1?
Yes, she was, but I'm guessing hearing about it still, you know.
Oh, yeah, I could definitely see her having heard about it, especially... Oh, wait, no, Chloe's not alive in that version.
Again with the Sonic has... oh, never mind, it's just technically, I guess it's the same laptop, because, you know, Steph, like, yeah, true. I just can get over that. Anyway, Enchanter Tim to the 2 send us a mail. I understand, okay. I know this is the time of year when these memories attack you and all you want to do is shut them out. I know you would give anything to get through tonight without thinking of Arcadia Bay or Chloe or me. But just in case, I'm here for you, and I always will be. No matter how fucking terrible this night always is, I'm not the least bit sorry that I still have you in my life, and I know you feel the same, even if you're a little worse at showing it. Anyway, I know I'm around, could definitely use some gaming distraction. No pressure, really, but I'm around. Mikey.
I guess assuming that this is the Arcadia Bay survived ending, Steph would have heard that Chloe is also dead.
Yes.
I'm trying to remember if Steph had that tight a relationship with Chloe. I know that she had I think Steph was like tighter with Rachel and Chloe just got introduced to the group.
Yeah.
Really glad we could hang out tonight. Like I said, this time of year for me, it's, well, you know.
Yeah.
I remember our good actress friend Rachel who burned down the
Why
forest.
am I such a downer? Come on, let's see what monsters or trickery you have planned for Elamon to breeze past this week.
You're on. I just need to do a few things to get set up. Okay.
I didn't know
Where
DJ
were
Simulator was so realistic. It had people just walking around, finding random stuff to do while the music's playing.
This thing grows more every session. My comp sci professor called that.
What's comp sci?
I believe Elamon was about to enter the secret treasure chamber.
Damn right.
Hey, is that the same map from before the
playing or
storm?
not? Shh, Wells is coming. Penis!
Oh, Chloe and
I
Rachel.
think Chloe and Rachel
How
are playing
nice
their
to
own
hear
game.
their voices again.
I think they got Ashley Birch to play Chloe again.
No, they didn't. They
Pass me
didn't.
the
They didn't?
D20, D10,
Oh,
and
so,
Oh,
don't-
Rihanna
please don't tell me it's Rihanna DeVries. It's Rihanna DeVries, really?
Bash this Hydra's
Yeah,
head.
apparently.
Oh, why?
Well, wait.
The one who played her in Before the Storm.
Oh, that's right. They weren't able to get Chloe's actress back because of the
But
strike
okay,
at the time.
okay, but that doesn't apply to this game though. Like, why couldn't you get back Ashley Birch? Like,
I guess maybe Ashley Birch was too expensive to get back for that one line, and Deck 9 are tighter with Rihanna since, you know,
well, yeah, they are.
the ones who made Before the
I can
Storm.
understand bringing back Kylie Brown because she's the only one who's played Rachel anyway. So sure, I get that. Even though even though her acting sucks, that's fine.
Now?
But seriously, you couldn't at the very least get Ashley Birch to reprise her role as Chloe?
just angry.
No, I guess this means Rihanna has technically portrayed Chloe in more games than Ashley Birch.
That's kind of sad.
No one deserves.
Well, technically, remember, thanks to the farewell episode, Ashley Birch did play her in Before the Storm, technically. So I guess technically they're still tied.
Yeah, forgot about
Look,
that.
Steph, what you're feeling,
I'm fine. Come on, let's keep playing.
It's weird how I don't think we ever get any hints of her grieving in the main story, which, to be fair, I get it. That's more so Alex's plot, but am I the only one who finds it just a little bit weird? Like, hell, you're cribbing from Life is Strange 1 so much, why not do a proper throwback to the characters from that and Before the Storm?
My problem with this is that, okay, based on Before the Storm, Steph didn't really have a relationship with Rachel. In fact, we have that scene Before the Storm where she even asks Chloe, okay, so if you're not with Rachel, is it okay if I make a move? So it seems like, as far as we could tell, Rachel and Steph didn't really talk to each other at one point.
Guessing it was,
but I'm pretty
I'm
sure
guessing that was more as
both ways.
friends than
And if she
lovers.
could have, I know
Well, that's the
Chloe
thing, Jova. We never see Steph ever talk to Rachel at any point in Before the Storm. So as far as I can tell, they didn't have any relationship, period. As for Chloe, yeah, she did talk occasionally to Chloe here, and especially, and remember, some of those conversations with Steph are actually optional because you don't have to do the D&D session with her and Mikey in Before the Storm. So, but okay, for the sake of argument, let's say that I did interact with Steph as many times as possible in Before the Storm. Still, the relationship that they had in Before the Storm, Chloe and Steph, I mean, were acquaintances at best. They weren't even necessarily friends. They talked to each other like twice, 3 times tops. So I don't really get. I mean, I don't really get whether, like, if you really wanted a trauma thing, you probably should have picked Mikey to be the one who somehow passed on in between games or something, since they actually have an established friendship from early age at this point. But no, Mikey's still here, as you can see. That's the weird part of this. Like, I don't really get this doesn't really have any impact because, like I said, Before the Storm didn't really establish any strong bonds between Steph and those two. Not particularly.
What kind of world is it that lets that shit?
Like I said, they were acquaintances at best.
I'll let you know if I figure it out.
Granted, there were the letters from there were Chloe's letters that I think we can get in that DLC episode, which shows that apparently Chloe did cultivate a relationship with Steph, and it implies, I think, that Steph may have had a thing for Rachel, since Steph was always into girls. So
sure, but we didn't see any of that. As far as the games have told us, I didn't really see much of anything to justify this PTSD.
Wait, hold on. Actually, Steph does mention that she had a crush on Rachel.
1 year.
No, that we already knew from Before the Storm, but that never came into. But that never amounted to anything.
It'll be
Okay, now granted, this is me having to play a bit of writer for the writers, but Steph having a crush on Rachel implies that she definitely has something of a relationship with Rachel, Maybe they're friends and she just has unrequited love for her, essentially. Although, damn, knowing Rachel, she may have just been using Steph like she kind of used Chloe.
Hold on, this is important.
That's how it works. But you didn't. Why?
Why do you think?
Because you're sentimental?
Maybe you just can't let go of high school. I'm your human time capsule back to the good old days.
I know you don't believe that. Fuck. Steph, I've taken a lot of shit from you over the years, but this
isn't you.
I need you. That's why I keep coming back.
So I guess this is implying that Rachel and Chloe's murders really did a number on these guys? Like, okay.
It feels like I'm bringing that part of myself back from the dead.
Don't recall these two being that broken that they were hinging that much. Okay, let's assume that, yes, they were very good friends with Chloe and Rachel. And I get it. The death of a friend can mess someone up.
It's pretty fucking dumb.
But were Rachel and Chloe really the only other friends they had? I mean, maybe they were kind of outcasts and losing them was a thing.
My problem is that this entire thing lacks context. Like, we don't, there seems to be, like, for example, that line that Mikey just said, and I've taken so much shit from you over the years.
It does.
When was that told to us before? Like, I don't really see where this is even coming from, to be honest. Like, it feels like there's history in between games that we were not told about.
What do you think, Dwibs and Shiroi?
And I'm out.
Yeah, I don't really mind too much.
Maybe that's okay.
Yeah.
Like, we need context for this shit. You can't just throw this at us all out of the blue. That's not how storytelling works.
I love how I love how different our reactions are. Pedro is the most questioning of it, and me and Shuri are the kind of in the middle. Who gives a shit?
And I'm the one who tries to play detective on this stuff. The thing is, there's the semblance of something that could work here. It's just, okay, here's the problem. This is working up the context of two prequel exclusive characters. Ergo, characters who could not show up in the main Life is Strange game, because yes, while we do get to know Rachel in Before the Storm, Life is Strange is the one that shows how people react to her death overall the most, essentially. So I guess in a way, this is this game's way of showing, well, this is how these guys felt, whereas, you know, everyone else we got to see in the actual Life is Strange game. It's just that, well...
Look, imagine if in Avatar The Last Airbender, we had moments where Zuko talks about how his father and his sister traumatized him immensely as a child and tortured him, Azula's bullying, and of course the father's literally, basically an abusive father, literally, you know, by even burning him in the face and everything. Imagine if he talked about this occasionally here and there, but we never saw the flashbacks that actually established that backstory. You know, like there's context here that we're not told about. Like why are that's the problem, and I don't really get it.
I might do this.
Like, okay, with or without the flashbacks, I feel like what you need is good writing. Like, okay, the flashbacks do help, but arguably, at the very least, the point where Uncle Iroh tells the story of Zuko is good information. Whether or not it's shown, we're at least told. Here, again, this is the first we're actually hearing about how Steph dealt with the deaths of Chloe and Rachel, and like, again, maybe it was briefly mentioned in the main game, and I'm just forgetting. I honestly don't recall.
No, I meant...
Yeah, so, okay, as far as I know, this is like the first uttering of how Steph has been dealing with it. Like, I'm not saying that it's automatically terrible, it's just...
What's on your mind?
It's just that, well...
someone in my family,
you know what? It's actually a similar problem to the main game. So the first bout of the grieving we see, and it's put towards arguably the later third of the DLC.
It's also the fact that, again, it's just the payoff, but without the build-up, and you can't do that. That doesn't work.
It's like, yeah, you know what? This does feel like something that would basically facilitate, like, people going on forums and going, how did Steph and Mikey deal with the deaths of Rachel and Chloe? I'm like, I guess this DLC does check that box mark off. It does it. Maybe not the best, though.
So, I'm calling you to ask, what's gonna happen if I contact her? What's she gonna say?
You know I'm not actually psychic, right?
Shh. Don't ruin it.
Okay. Give me a second.
Okay,
Sorry.
1. I just second.
18?
Guess what? It's looking bright.
Seriously?
What would be
Like, it's not even a matter of the the problem with that scene is that it flies in the face of basically how and the anatomy of story is supposed to work. Like, you need to first set up the conflict, demonstrate the conflict happening, and then have some kind of payoff where the characters grow on some kind of manner, right? This DLC, on the other hand, jumps immediately to the payoff, like, without setting any of this up. Like, oh, don't you see?
Payoff?
Yeah, we're done. We're done with that plot.
It honestly kind of implied that Steph was still working through it, so I assume that we get, like, at least another scene between her and Mikey.
No, we do not. That was it.
Oof.
Because now you know exactly.
See, that's exactly the problem. Like,
you
might as well have cut that scene out at this point, because it's just a payoff to a... That should have been... If anything, that should have been the entire focus of the episodes, instead of just being one scene that feels like it comes out of nowhere because the conflict hasn't been set up at all.
You know, honestly, it's kind of a missed opportunity that her grieving wasn't brought up in the main story, because she's grieving Gabe. So why not bring up the fact that Gabe is, like, dude, the third friend in Steph's life now that has kind of died pretty tragically when you think about it. But no mention of Chloe or Rachel.
Thank you for calling.
Like, shoot, I have to wonder, did the writers forget and they went, oh crap, we actually should have looked into that? Well, let's put it in the
Honestly,
DLC.
No.
But yeah, I see the irony here.
Things are
Like, you
pretty
know,
great.
she's prepping Gabe, and since we played the main story, we know it's going to turn out well for him. Well, specifically with that one issue. Not so much for the whole, try to stay off of
Dads,
cliffs
play songs,
issue.
take calls.
Yeah.
I'm a fully automated DJ.
Woo!
Man.
See, my problem with see the thing is, the only real issue I have with you being okay with this is that I feel like if, say for example, Hino did this, you probably would be a lot more harsh, to be honest with you. I don't know. It feels like you're, you know, being inconsistent in the way. I mean, remember back with the first time you played the crossover and you ragged about it for like a few days and stuff like that.
I mean, okay, to Dwibs' credit, we hold different standards on different pieces of media. Like, to give Dwibs credit, when it comes to, like, say, a level 5 stuff, those usually have bigger budgets. I don't always agree with what he has to say, but I feel like we can't treat every little piece of media on the exact same scale.
I
So,
strongly disagree. Like, the only way to be fair is to judge. God.
It's apples and oranges.
No, I disagree with that. Like, the only way to be 100% fair is to judge every single every single story in the exact same way. Because if you treat stories differently, then okay, by that logic, then from this point on, I'm going to pick and choose which stories are bad and which stories are good, regardless of like you have to be 100.
Oh, so you're talking about the story and not so much the game as a whole, because
Well,
it sounds like you're
obviously.
talking about the game as a whole.
I'm talking about the story specifically, like because
I mean,
I've seen Dwebs complain more about other stories that have the same issues that this one has than he's doing right now. You know, so it feels like there's...
I did the last game in the series that we did.
No, the issues between those two games are very different. I will argue.
Also,
I would honestly really need a specific example to get what you're referring to. Like, I mean,
No, sure, I get that. Like, my main point is that I disagree with this notion that, oh, we need to... Some pieces of media, we treat with kids' gloves. Some pieces of media, we're much more harsh and... No, I disagree with that notion altogether. To me, every piece of media needs to be judged equally on the same grounds, because that's the only way you can be fair. I mean, if you're going to do that, then you're not really being objective and fair when you're judging media. I mean, like, by that logic, like, okay, in that case, I'm going to decide that from this point on, every single thing that, every single turning game, I'm going to treat it with kids' gloves, just cause. And never criticize it. Like, it's just like, I don't know, I just don't understand that notion. To me, like, 100%.
Well, first of all, when did this commentary turn into a Dwibs hit piece? And
I'm not talking about you anymore at this point, Dwibs. Don't come on, don't turn this into...
And second, like, to me, each series of scene I have different expectations for, depending on what it wants to achieve.
that is fair, honestly. It's like, with something like Dora the Explorer, obviously you don't look for as heavy a story thought into it. Something like Ace Attorney, you definitely look more into the writing on here. With Life is Strange, let me put it like this. I definitely hold the writing up to standard. I can understand someone who is more into it for the experience than specifically just the story and plot here, and even in that regard, I will still hold Life is Strange technically is a good narrative. It is not a great narrative, and like I said, it just barely crosses that threshold, but I'm gonna give Dweebs credit on this one. I think he's fine with this one in that regard. Like, I can understand somebody who, again, while they may not love it, like, I can get somebody who is chill with this game, because, admittedly, we are looking into very deep aspects of the plot, which do make it problematic in that regard, but looking at it from a broad picture, yeah, I can see someone having a fine enough time with it, and I wouldn't say it's like Dwibs is ignoring the problems here, it's just that they don't bug him as much.
12 doesn't tell me much.
Yeah, it's like it depends on how much I'm enjoying other things in the game. Like I'm pretty sure there's been examples of like none come to mind right now, since there's been a lot of them. There have been times where I just didn't really enjoy a product much at all because nothing, very little, if nothing, was engaging.
Which does tend to affect how someone may feel about something. Where, yeah, there is bias there, but it is really hard for anyone to be like 100% non-biased. Even supposedly professional critics.
Anyone who says that they've never been biased at all towards anything or against anything in their lives is a liar.
She tells you all
That's
about her point.
that is true, but I still think we can people can be a lot less biased than they're usually willing to. Not I'm talking about you. I'm talking about people in general. Like a lot of people you see online. A lot of people allow their biases to consume them in their reviews, and don't make an effort. Like obviously you can't be 100% unbiased, like you guys said, but at the same time, there's a lot of people who don't even try to, because I still think yes, we can never be 100% unbiased, but we should always aim to be as close to that 100% as possible. That's what I mean.
I absolutely agree. Case in point, a lot of modern-day video game critics who will praise a game for being less like a game and more like a movie.
Yeah.
All right, more girls we can talk to.
Yeah, kind of.
Be careful, Pedro, or else you'll run out of... Yeah, you've run out of swipe.
What kind of phone is this where you can only swipe it a few times?
It's the app more so than the phone.
I'm guessing it's probably one of those apps that has a paid version that, now you can actually look at them proper and all of that jazz.
Listen to your final song. The way it's written there makes it sound like, this is the final song you'll ever listen.
See, my problem is that, I see a lot of people who... Again, not talking about, for example, someone like Adam from yourmoviesucks.org, where I have a lot of problems with his videos, and that's why I stopped watching him, because I find him to have double standards, where he complains about certain things in certain movies, and then you see other movies that he likes that have those same issues, and he somehow doesn't bring them up. Like and it's not just Adam. Like I've seen plenty of people on YouTube who do this. Like it's just like, and it's something that always bugs me, because it's just like, come on, dude, you can't just pick and choose in which pieces of media you complain about this issue. You have to do it in all of them.
Now, if I may, I definitely do agree with you on some circumstances like that. I do think there are some times where exceptions are drawn. Case in point, the Expendables franchise, ergo the franchise that is specifically made to turn off your brain for, because that's, how it functions overall. Now, granted, if someone wants to point out the flaws with that, that's fine, but Expendables works in a way that arguably what you would normally criticize in a movie actually works in its favor, if you can, get what I mean.
My friends are dorks.
Steph, what? Your friends put together a surprise scavenger hunt, and this is the first clue? You must have seriously great friends. Steph is witty, bold, and fun, but she's also a great listener. P.S. We're starting off easy. Don't look far. GCCH, whatever.
I'm guessing that's Gabe, Charlotte, and Ryan.
Probably.
So I guess this is the final challenge of the game. A scavenger hunt.
Okay.
Again, I don't want to sound like I'm ragging too much on this DLC. I know, it's supposed to be a nice, chill sequence, but really? You could... Well, okay, I guess the fact that they show the town in different seasons means that they couldn't render what it was like outside, fair enough. It's just, it feels really confined to just here without us getting to interact with much people.
Let me use the farewell episode of Before the Storm as an example.
Could I interrupt before you do that? Sorry, could I have time, please?
Go to 30, or sorry, 29. See if you can get to 29 real quick.
All right.
Let us know when you get there.
Charlotte, if memory serves.
Yeah, 29.
Okay, hold on.
Oh, cool, you're there? Alright, get ready.
Alright, hold on, and okay.
His name is Quicksby.
Click.
Once renowned for his wisdom and knowledge,
Alright.
he was driven from the Sky Council
Oh,
after the
Pedro?
Great
Hold
Cloud
on,
Schism
she's talking.
and has sworn revenge. Quicksby is amassing great riches in order to build an indestructible weather machine and turn the skies black for 1,000 years.
He might be nocturnal, but now it's my turnal.
Oh, look at that. They had a good tabletop session.
Indeed.
Hey, you were saying, Pedro?
Okay, so let's use the farewell episode from Before the Storm. Here you go. I'm comparing Deck 9 to Deck 9, which I will argue is perfectly fair and valid here. Like, things that should have the same. If Farewell felt like a complete story, right? It was. It starts off with Chloe and Max in their more like 13, 14, or no, around that area, right? And they're having fun, and the story is all about Max working up the courage to tell Chloe that she's moving, and therefore they won't be together anymore, right? So the entire story is basically this big, like, you know, that simulation of, you know, trying to say a painful farewell to your best friend. And there's a lot of nostalgia value where they go on a treasure hunt and all that stuff, which illustrates their friendship and their bond, which makes the farewell all the more painful. Then eventually we get to it. Of course, tragedy strikes, and surprise, surprise, on the exact same day that Max says farewell to her, Chloe's dad dies. And that's so it ends on a big sad ending, but again, it's just a sad ending that fits with the Life is Strange 1, so of course it has to happen. So the main idea with that was to provide also extra context for the first game, which, yeah, the first game probably could have used an episode like that as well. So yeah, Farewell felt like a complete story that's had a beginning, middle, and end. The Steph has trauma and her thing with Mikey, you don't get the beginning, middle, and end. You just get the end. That's the problem.
I ask, why wasn't Steph's trauma over losing friends brought up in the main story while she's grieving Gabe? That would have been the perfect, what's the word I'm looking for? The perfect, genuine way of, working in a reference to Life is Strange and Before the Storm without it feeling forced.
So my argument is, if they could pull this off well in Before the Storm, why not here? Like, they've proven that they can do DLC episodes before well, and it felt complete. It didn't feel like an incomplete story. This is, again, this entire game is an incomplete story, like we've talked about various times.
Way too short. Like,
yeah,
that is definitely my main critique.
Feels
like it's way too short.
It feels, like she always said, it's probably not on purpose. There's probably a lot of stuff that got left on the cutting room floor, but I can only judge what the game is. I can't judge what the game could have been,
Yeah, and look, even if stuff was cut, what we got is what we got.
They sold me this for $60. I'm gonna judge it as a complete $60 product. And
this DLC for $12. Like, it'd be one thing if you could just get the episode on its own, but nope, that always comes with the extra outfits. And I don't know, for something that cost a fifth of the original game's price, I just feel like there could be more.
What they could have done, see, for me it's fine, because right now if you're on the PlayStation Network, you can buy it for $20.99, which is a steal. The Deluxe Edition even, so it has everything except the remasters, because there's also an Ultimate Edition, but the only difference is that the Ultimate Edition gives you the remastered collection as well. So yeah, you can now just wait for sales and buy this at a very low price, but the truth of the matter is that when this game first came out, and every time it's on sale, it still costs the usual $60 for the base game, and if you want to buy the deluxe edition, you can buy it for $69.99 or whatever it is. And there you go. There's the music that she has been composing. It's like, the sad part is that, again, you could have easily used this DLC to set up the Mikey and Chloe part of it, because we spend so many times with picking up calls from random people who call in the radio. Instead of doing that, why not actually set up the Mikey and Chloe
Hey,
plot.
KRCT listeners.
You know, because
Special
these times where these calls that Steph is picking up are amusing, yes, but should they really take priority over the emotional line of the plot? I don't think so.
I think the one that has like the most relevance is the one where gay pops up.
Oh
Granted,
no, that one we should keep, yeah. But the other ones that are from random people, like
yeah, I was
the
about
time
to ask,
spent doing that would have been better spent setting up that scene with Mikey.
And better yet, why not just use? Okay, granted, maybe they were side characters in the main plot, but if they were like characters who like weren't important enough for me to remember.
No, the aside from Gabe, the other people who called were random NPCs that don't matter. Like they're not characters in the main story or anything like that. No, they're just like random people that we don't know who they are.
And in terms of the NPCs, why not have people come into the shop? Like, I get it. We can't go out because they're showing the turning of the year, so they wouldn't bother making, like, different renders of the town at different times of season for the whole level. But, like, why not have characters come into the shop and interact with Steph for one reason or another?
Typical Ryan.
And again, I want to
Making
stress,
triple sure
this
I get it.
is fine. It might even say good even, but it could be so much more. And granted, okay, to their credit, like Pedro mentioned, nowadays the game is much more fairly priced. Like, you know, getting all this for 20 bucks, you know, this with the actual
when it's on sale at least, because the default price is still 60.
Oh. Okay, so when it's on sale, yikes. Does it go on sale often?
Yes, it does. Practically every PlayStation Network sale, practically every Steam sale. So yeah, it goes on sale pretty often.
I wonder why they don't just change the default price at that rate. I mean, granted, I guess unless they're keeping the default price in like other platforms, so they figure might as well keep it uniform.
I'm calling with an inquiry about the future.
I'm serious.
Well, the previous Life is Strange games also, like for example, Before the Storm, the original Before the Storm, I mean, still hasn't dropped price. Like the deluxe edition is still the original $24.99.
You're what?
So it seems like Square doesn't typically. They're kind of. I guess they were kind of like what Nintendo does, because Nintendo, outside of sales, never really lowers the default price of their games either. So I guess the Square Enix is operating on that same logic.
It's a common arrangement, although it's admittedly fallen out of favor.
Is this Ducky calling?
Yes,
You may know it
if I remember correctly.
Yeah, you know, okay, this is fine, you know, getting calls from characters that we properly met in the main game,
How
I
many of
feel
you are
probably would have added more to it.
Plus me equals 4.
Unless the HR guy was Mac, but I highly doubt that.
No, it wasn't.
So glad this is up to the D20 and not me.
I guess her advice just magically turns out well since we haven't gotten any calls or complaints about her giving bogus advice.
Or yay.
Eh?
So, Ducky's taunting.
He doesn't win this year, or he dies.
He dies. What?
Guess what, Ducky? You're gonna die.
Yeah, I know, but
Happily
what
or
can you tell me about this
your
at the minute?
friends all continue to live this year. So you
What
don't
can you
win
tell me
the
about the
taunting.
Reapers?
You're certain? They're really old.
I
could
give
kill
this
them.
prediction a bronze octagon. It's the highest level of radio psychic
That'd be
certainty
something if you
known
chose
to
the
man.
you could kill them option.
But thinking about your friend's death so much causes you to remember why you were friends with them in the first place. You decide to visit each of them over the year and have a great time reconnecting on a totally Tontine-free level.
If I cannot be rich in gold, I will be rich in friendship.
Thanks for calling, Ducky.
Aww. How touching.
My inner Tyler Durden hates this part of the job, but my inner Billy Mays loves it. Gotta keep
All
looking.
right.
Where's that next clue?
Alright then, let's look.
I do like the music that we're hearing throughout this DLC. I'll give it that.
Ooh, third clue.
Typical Ryan.
Ever since you started illuminating the future, your show's been a bright spot in people's lives. You've really made Haven shine again.
Wait, illuminating.
And shine.
Right. Oh my god, wait, illuminating and bright. Oh god, Illumination are gonna make a animated remake of that Bright Netflix movie.
Of course, because you know fairy lives do matter.
Let's see.
Scratching posts.
So, illuminating and shine, so I'm assuming it has something to do with a light. Oh. A mini fridge.
Only the best smoked salmon for my little terror.
Heh.
How nice. The cat will eat well, I guess.
What about you, Shiro? Do you also feed the little terror you have there in your home? Well, right, you're the short one, so I think you the big terror.
Yes?
Okay, don't forget to feed her and walk her. So, she's your she's your responsibility now. You have to make sure you feed her and you walk her. Well,
She barely eats, and like her job involves walking. So,
don't forget to give her
I
a
don't
bath
need to do
too.
that.
Talking about a lamp.
Oh wow, your cat takes such good care of
You also-
herself.
Yeah.
Huh. Sure.
You look a giant leap of faith and move to a strange town, where you forged a badass creative life for yourself. Find the next clue in the record bin that describes what you are.
And then some jerk off screen yells, "Someone who has no life."
Okay.
Something like that.
Okay, so the record bin. The record bin. The record bin. Aha! There it is. Thanks for
The scavenger.
What? Good effort, Ethan.
Thanks for selling my comics. That's what I call awesome. Switchboard.
Oh, Ethan. Bless him. He's just a boy.
So the next bit is on the switchboard. Okay, let's do so.
This scavenger hunt is neat and charming.
Okay, that clue's in here somewhere.
There it is.
See, Valkyrie? We're best friends. It says so right here.
She's your best, it's your real best friend. No point trying to pretend. I tried to compete. I admit defeat. It's a match made in hell. What can I say? Oh well. Boo. Okay then. Alright, let's leave.
Gotta keep looking. Where's that next clue?
Speaking of the devil, you solved the scavenger hunt. Your prize is on a shelf in the back.
But we didn't say which shelf.
Okay, a shelf on the back.
The original song.
Not really.
And here's your surprise,
Guess
a
I
pink
finally
slip you
clicked with
fired.
the customer base.
Who makes a scavenger hunt just to fire an employee?
Hold on, there it is. Box.
Holy Holy shit.
Okay, so there you go. So whoever sits here does so by the beneficence of Steph Gringrish, Black Lantern regular, and staple of the Haven community, and must yield their place.
Wonderful bunch of absolute geeks.
Maybe add.
Steph, the time has come for me to formally release you from your foosball oath. Well, if you're ready to leave Haven, I won't throw a fit, I promise. On the other hand, though, maybe you've seen the little black some bar stools at fine old taverns and such. Those seats are reserved for members of the community who, no matter how far they stray or how long they're gone, you always have a spot at the bar when they return. You're one of them now. You've earned it. Thanks for a great year. We love you, man. Gabe, Ryan, Charlotte. P.S. Swing by tomorrow and claim your stool.
You know what? I like this as a good conclusion and how she's a part of the community. I just wish we'd seen her interact more with the community that we know, actually. Granted, maybe the idea was to let us get to know more people over the phone, but again, it's incredibly quick.
Alright, champagne. Because remember New Year's Eve.
What have you hooked me up with?
How nice of Jed.
Close enough? Oh, come on, Steph, that's cheating. You're supposed to wait till actual midnight.
Maybe she just popped it open for the time being.
No, she looked at the clock and she went, close enough.
Cheater.
Happy New Year, Valkyrie! Wherever you are.
That cat is always running off, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Alright. With that done, and now we're back at the beginning of the main game.
Oh, let me guess. This is when Alex is about to pop in.
Exactly. So yeah, why didn't you let me play this before the main game? I personally would have preferred playing it that way.
Or at the very least, again, after episode 1, since that's when we first meet Steph.
Shout out to anyone who sung along with that.
Or heck, just
You're
like
awesome.
block it behind the
New
point
releases
where
in
you
just a
first
minute,
meet
but
Steph.
First, let's hear from you.
Kind of like Sonic Adventure.
Hey there, you're live on KRC.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like Sonic Adventure is the right model to follow. Like, you start as Sonic, but then as you unlock more characters, you can do their stories as soon as you know that they're a part of the fray.
Why? Did something happen?
Not really. Just started thinking life's more interesting if you don't try to predict everything first.
What are you talking about? I predict stuff on this all the time.
The taller one. Thanks for calling.
And see, now
Question
Steph's a
from Rochelle
pro
in Colorado Springs.
at the DJ
How's
art.
Valkyrie doing? Val let me pet her the other day, and then she bit me more gently than usual. We're definitely getting somewhere.
Yeah, Jenny bit me a little bit.
Progress.
All right, here's a new release from
Oh,
the
goodness.
Wednesday. Let me know what
The
you think.
Wednesday. No, honestly, I prefer the Monday.
Mondays suck.
I beg your
Alright,
pardon.
Garfield.
Well, Sheree loves cats. Wait, you hate Mondays and you like cats, so that means Sheree has some connection to Garfield, which means that you're now owned by Nickelodeon. Sorry, Sheree.
No, Shira is normal.
Oh, hello.
Really?
Yes.
Hi, Alex.
And that's when she realized it was love.
Well, Shira, here's the thing. When I think of you, I don't think of Garfield. Like, if there was a Garfield character, you'd be normal, definitely.
Huh. Not Angel.
I'm not.
But normal.
Well, Angel. I guess Angel could be another character that she could be, I guess, but not as Garfield. I just cannot see you as Garfield, Shiri, personally.
Maybe
No.
Garfield's cousin or something.
Well, isn't normal kind of Garfield's cousin?
I think in some versions or iterations they make it that Norma is like Garfield's cousin or nephew or something.
Anyway, that was Wavelenghts, everybody. The credits are the exact same. Twibs?
Fine enough. I have to admit, I wasn't expecting it to be DJ Simulator, but in terms of DJ simulators, this is the only one that I've seen. I think it's solid enough. I mean, Steph herself is a lot of fun to watch, and I do like the. There's one thing that I actually do like is behind the scenes of stuff, like how things are made, and this kind of gives me a little bit of insight into how at least small radio station DJs do their job. So I got some enjoyment out of that. As for whether you could really justify, blocking this behind a completion wall, I wouldn't say that myself. Not really. But that's more on outside circumstances. Not really a problem with the DLC itself in terms of its content. And I did like some of the music tracks that they play while you're doing this little playthrough. So overall, I think it's solid enough.
All right, sure.
All right.
It was okay. I think we all agree on the DLC you pay for being blocked out by playing the whole game issue. I feel like if, for whatever reason, they had to block you off, then just episode 1, since this is backstory stuff anyway. And even then, it's only kinda. So, the content was fine. I also think you should be able to buy it separately from the costumes, but it's pretty meaty for what it is. Yep, that's it, I think.
Go ahead, Joa.
There's no justifying blocking this behind completing the whole game. In fact, if anything, I feel like, it kind of takes away, since I don't feel like... Okay, yes, we learn more stuff about Steph. That's good. But do we learn stuff about Steph facilitating her character arc in the main game? No. No, we do not. This feels about as connected to the main narrative as Red Dead Redemption, the Undead campaign, does to the actual campaign. Actually, I tell a lie, because that one actually acts as sort of an alternative timeline, which takes place after most of the events of the original game. So even that, which is technically non-canon, has more of a connection to how this feels like with the mainline game of its source. Again, it's good. But is it $12 good? Again, I feel like for DJ Simulator, it's nice. But I also feel like it is a little too limited. And I get it, DLC, so it probably had a lower budget, but surely we could have at least had more of the characters showing up and talking to Steph, or heck, have more of the actual characters be the ones who call her over the phone rather than, I guess, just Gabe and Ducky be the ones who actually call her. But I digress. It's fine. It's not amazing. And again, why the hell was this blockaded?
Mm-hmm.
Next.
Yeah, that is not really much I can say. It's okay. But like I said, it lacks elaboration. It lacks anything particularly meaningful. Like I said, the whole thing with Mikey just felt like it came out of nowhere. It wasn't set up properly. The characters talk about, oh, I've put up with your shit for years now. And I'm like, did you? When was that established? I don't remember hearing about any of this up until now. Like, the fucking thing blindsides you. You can't just suddenly bring... Like, imagine you're watching... let me think. Imagine you're watching a Professor Layton game where suddenly, out of nowhere, Luke turns to Herschel and is like, by the way, Professor, I've heard my friend has been bullied for years now, and I'm kind of tired of this. Like, do you have any advice you could give me on this? And it's just like, it blindsides. Whoa, wait, what? Where did this? What? Like, you can't just blindside the audience like this. It takes you out of it. And the fact that this wasn't set up just makes it feel unfulfilling, because I didn't really get the build up so I could get attached to this and properly feel that payoff. Not to mention even the payoff on its own, despite not having, again, beginning, middle, and end. Farewell had a beginning, middle, and end. The Mikey plot doesn't have a beginning, middle, and end. It only has the end. And even the end, I will argue, is not particularly great.
Is it sad that, despite this being the better main game of the franchise, I think it might potentially have the weakest of the DLCs? This is assuming we're counting Captain Spirit as like sort of kind of DLC for Life is Strange 2.
Well, it technically is. It's
like,
free DLC, but it technically is. Yes.
It's like, I guess if I have to give credit where it's due, I do feel like previous DLC campaigns have felt better fleshed out.
I have to agree. This is probably the weakest of the Life is Strange DLCs. Captain Spirit was better, and Farewell was better.
What boggles my mind is, like, as far as I know, the game was a success, so, again, unless this was all they had planned for the DLC, it feels a little too cheap.
It also... sorry, go on.
But I can only speculate on that regard.
Yeah. It's one of those things where it's just like... See, here's the thing about this game. Yes, the game... Because my problem with the whole... after... And Shiro just made a point that after how shit all the previous games were, this is a better fresh. Well, yeah. If you compare it to the previous games, this is a fucking godsend. Yes, but I don't really think being much better than the previous games is really something that's like a huge accomplishment. Like this game. Like I try to judge this game on a vacuum, like I always do, because yes, if I can compare it to the other games, like I have. But I still think we should judge it for what it is, and not just based on how much better it is than the previous games, right? And for what it is, if you just judge it what it is and compare it to much better games of this ilk, it's still not very good. It's fine, but there's still a lot of room for improvement. Because the issues that the game has are frustrating. Because, like I said, there's a skeleton for a good story here. But the lack of meat just makes the whole thing. And like I said, me and Joe have talked about this, and I'll bring it up again. This game also breaks that rule that we've talked about, that don't make your characters likable, make them complex. They focused on making the characters likable, and they are likable, but they're not interesting. And the characters, above all else, should be interesting. They can be likable as well, don't get me wrong, but likability alone does not make an interesting character. It makes him an enjoyable character at best. But there comes a point where there has to be some substance put in that character, because if I just want to chill out with likable people, I can just chill out with my friends, So yeah, the point is, just like the main game, it's okay, but it lacks a lot of meat. And again, where's the setup for the Mikey thing? Because I didn't really see it. And like I said, I never got that Steph was super close with either Chloe or Rachel in Before the Storm, so this whole PTSD thing kind of comes out of nowhere for me too. I don't know, like there's clearly context here that's not being told to us, but that's just me. All right, that's True Colors, everybody, which means we are officially done with the Life is Strange series for now, because as of the time of this recording, we have yet to have an announcement for Life is Strange 4. But don't worry. Yes, Jova?
I was going to say, what a journey it has been.
Indeed. That being said, everybody, we're not done, because after Life is Strange 2, Dontnod made another game. In fact, that game, I will argue, is a much better Life is Strange game than Life is Strange 2. And in fact, for that one, you're going to have a treat, because eventually when you do get to that game, Teo will actually join us, since he told me that he actually is interested in that game. So, and I'm sure Shira is, of course, super excited to do that one in particular as well.
Hopefully I would have played it by the time we actually get to recording that one.
So basically, everybody, while we wait for Deck 9 to decide where they want to take the series next, let's go back to Don't Nod and see what they're up to. So tune in next time when oh god, Shiri, help me, I'm drawing a blank.
Tune in next time to the Life is Strange verse, kind of, for Tell Me Why.
That's it, Tell Me Why. Yeah, that's the thing. It actually takes place in the Life is Strange universe, apparently, because there's a point where they reference
I was
it.
joking.
Oh, you were joking?
Oh wait.
Yeah.
There's a Life is Strange reference in the game that kind of implies that. See, the thing is, Joe.
It's at least in the same world.
Yeah, because it still has the same basic premise. The protagonists have a supernatural power, so it has the same basic premise of the Life is Strange series. So
But yeah, Tell Me Why.
see if Tell Me Why eventually, everybody.
Yeah, then.